So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and this is another episode of Backroads Arizona. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the original spotlights that came with my 2007 Weekend Warrior toy hauler with new upgraded LED spotlights. The cool part about this is the lights that I found were a direct swap over from the originals, so there was no real modifications needing to be done. And what I mean by that is the lights were the exact same size, the hole patterns were the same, so it was basically plug and play. All I had to do was unscrew the old one, make a couple wire connections, and screw the new ones in. Now, I did get these lights off of Amazon, and we are Amazon affiliates, and I will put the links to these lights in my description if you want to get those coming, along with a couple tools that I used to do this swap. Now let's get to it. Now, there was one major difference between these new LED lights and the old originals that came on the trailer, and that is you'll notice that the old ones, the light is actually recessed behind the cover of the light, and on the new ones, they're actually sticking out past the cover where it bolts on, which in my mind is actually a little smarter design because it does not block light from hitting side to side as much as the ones that were recessed. So I think it gave me a lot broader spectrum of a light outside the toy hauler. However, this could be a problem depending on where these lights are located on your toy hauler, camper, or RV. For example, on this toy hauler, the lights were right underneath the awning. So if you do those lights and they stick out past the cover, it might interfere with that awning opening and closing. So it's just something to look at before purchasing these lights. So right here, I'm just removing the 8 screws that were holding this light fixture to the trailer. Now, on toy haulers, campers, and RVs, they do tend to use a square drive socket. However, I didn't feel like grabbing one of those, and I was able to use a number 2 Phillips in order to remove these. Once removing the screws and then just letting it hang by the wires, I did grab a little scraper to remove the old putty that they used to seal this light fixture to the trailer. They also had a bead of caulking that was sealing the very top of the light fixture to make sure no water had gotten through to the toy hauler, and I removed that as well. Then I went ahead and cut the wiring going to the light to remove it from the trailer. So obviously you would want to have the power turned off to these lights before cutting any wires. However, for the purposes of this video of wanting to show the before and after as far as replacing that light in pretty much the exact same conditions and time frame, I did do one of these lights and replaced it in the dark. And because I needed the light from the other light that was still plugged in, I did have them on during this process, which is not the safest way to go. And because of that, I made sure I only cut one wire at a time when removing the light from the toy hauler so I wouldn't end up blowing a fuse on the toy hauler for that light circuit. When cutting these wires, make sure you take note of the wire color that came from the trailer and what color wire it was going to on the light fixture, so you have that for a reference. In this case, there was a white wire from the trailer going to the white wire on the light, and then the blue wire from the trailer was going to the black wire on the light. On the front light, there was actually 2 blue wires coming from the trailer going to the black wire on the light, and then 2 white wires from the trailer going to the white wire on the light. And that was because not only did it have the feed wire coming probably directly from the switch in the trailer, but it also had the jumper wire going back to the other light to supply it as well. And the same goes for the ground. Now, in this situation where there's 2 wires going into one, you could just cut the single wire and butt connect it there. The reason that I didn't do that is every connection point that you're splicing something in is another point of failure, and that's why I completely redid the entire connection instead of just adding another splice to that circuit. So because the actual project footage was a little hard to see, after that footage, I will be showing you another video that I made showing you the exact same process I went through to give you a better visual on how I did it. Once cutting off the old light, then I went ahead and stripped back the wires coming from the toy hauler. Now, the wires that were feeding this light fixture on this older trailer were pretty big in comparison to the ones that came with the light fixture, especially when there's 2 of them going into the single wire that comes on that light fixture. So I'm going to show you a couple tricks that I use in order to make these type of connections. So right here, I'm stripping these wires back a little bit more than I normally would, so I can twist those wires together and then put the smallest butt connector that I could get over both of those wires and crimp that down. You will notice that I'm using an extra heavy-duty set of wire crimpers, and I will put a link to a set of Work Pro wire crimpers that are very similar to these in my description if you want to get those coming. The ones I'm using here are actually a set of MAC crimpers. However, the Work Pros are much cheaper and work just as good. The reason I like to use these is because they are extra wide, which gives you much more surface area on your crimp. The other reason I like them is the handles are nice and long, which give you nice leverage in order to make a good crimp as well. I also like to use uninsulated butt connectors and then put heat shrink over the top of them, especially in this type of an application. There's two reasons I like to go with this type of a connection usually when I'm doing my wiring. The first is it has a nice clean look, and the second reason is that heat shrink going over the top of the insulation of the wires helps with vibration and helps to keep that connection long lasting. Now, as I had mentioned, the two big wires that were on the trailer were way bigger than the single wire on the light fixture. So because of this, what I did on the light fixture is strip the insulation back 3 times farther than what I normally would, and then I folded that wire back on itself 2 times, which is basically making that wire on the light fixture thicker than what it actually is. I also put a small piece of heat shrink over the wire on the light fixture because I was worried because of the 2 big wires on the trailer side. I had to use such a big piece of heat shrink. I was worried it wasn't going to shrink down tight on that small wire. So by putting that small piece of heat shrink on, it was basically making the insulation on that small wire bigger so that heat shrink would shrink down on it tightly. Then because I folded that wire from the light fixture back on itself 2 extra times, it had a lot tighter fit in that larger butt connector, which helped ensure that I was going to get a good solid crimp on that larger butt connector squeezing down onto that wire. Then because I used that smaller piece of heat shrink on that smaller wire to build up the size of that, the larger piece of heat shrink that I had to use because the 2 larger wires on the trailer side did shrink down on that wire nice and tight, giving me a nice long-lasting weatherproof connection. So on the old lights, the black was the positive and the white was the ground. On these new lights, there is a red wire and a black wire, and the red wire is your positive and the black wire is your ground. So if you're not quite sure and you want to double check what it is actually coming out of the trailer, the easiest way to do that is just grab a multimeter or voltmeter, put it on DC volts, and test the wires coming from your trailer. In this case, if I put the black lead coming from the multimeter on the white wire coming out of the trailer, and the red lead from my voltmeter going to the blue wire on the trailer, I would be getting a positive 12 volts. Now, if I had switched those leads and tested it, it would give me a negative voltage telling me I am reversed. So therefore telling me that the white is the ground and the blue is the positive coming from the trailer. So I do have the 2 bigger pieces of heat shrink on the 2 white wires and the 2 blue wires where I twisted those together and made that crimp. And right here, I'm just making the crimp from that butt connector that I put on there to the wires on the light fixture itself. So in this case, the blue wire was the positive and the white wire was the ground. And on the light, the red wire was the positive and the black wire was the ground. So that's how I'm making those connections. Once making those connections, I pushed the heat shrink over the center of that butt connector and then went ahead and just used a lighter in order to shrink that heat shrink down onto the wires. Now on the backlight connection, since it was just a single wire to a single wire, I did not have to use as big of butt connectors. However, I did fold the light wires back on themselves one time just because of the different gauge and size and wire between the light and the trailer. Once again, just to give me a little stronger crimp on that smaller wire. Once making the connections and doing the heat shrink, then all that was left to do is go ahead and add some caulking to the back of the light fixture and then put it up in place and put the screws back in. I use this Alex Flex Premium Elastomeric Sealant from DAP. I've had pretty good luck with this product and I've been using it for several years, and it's very reasonably priced for the quality of the product that it is. So the whole reason I upgraded these lights was to hopefully give me enough light to play outdoor games like horseshoes and cornhole in front of the trailer after the sun goes down. And I do think I accomplished that using these new lights, whereas with the old lights that just wasn't a possibility. They're not quite as impressive as I thought they were going to be, but they are substantially better than the old ones. And one of the main reasons I got these lights over some of the others is I knew it was going to be a direct swap as far as the bolt pattern, and I didn't have to modify the trailer at all, which was a big plus. So after all the screws were tightened down, then I did go around it one more time with a little bit of caulking and smoothed it out with my finger just to give it a nice clean finished look. And a waterproof seal to the trailer. So that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it and it gave you some good information. If so, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. The whole concept of my channel is to give you guys the most information in the least amount of time as possible so I don't waste your time. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.